Here's a video of a water pump change on a 1996 Ford F250. This is the 5.8 liter. First drain the coolant, which I already did there. Next thing you're going to want to do is take the fan off, which I already did. I'm going to show you a trick on how to take that off. It makes it very easy. I took it out to show you this trick because it makes it a lot easier. But there's 4 holes right there on the back of this fan. This fan blows on the radiator, and those 4 bolts, or those 4 holes, bolts go through them and hold them on this pulley. This pulley is what spins to spin the fan. I put the 4 bolts in there already, and the problem people run into is this pulley will spin and the belt won't have enough tension on it to get these bolts out. So what I did was, the night before I decided to do this job, spray PB Blaster on all 4 of those bolts at least 2 or 3 times. So while that's still in the truck, put the 10mm wrench on like that, and then get something like a crowbar or a 2x4 or something, rest it on the wrench, and then give the top of the 2x4 crowbar a whack with a hammer, and basically makes your own impact wrench. With the combination of force from the hammer and the PB Blaster, those should come out no problem. They're only 10mm nuts. So then go ahead and take the fan out. Take the tension off the tensioner, which I'll show you how to do, and then pop this pulley off. Should be very simple. Here's the tensioner. Tensioners are always backwards. They're lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. So when you put the wrench on, just give it a counterclockwise spin, and then it releases the tension off the belt so that you can get that pulley off. I've got all the bolts for the water pump off now. There is one that's pretty tricky that goes in that hole right there. It actually screws into the block, goes through the water pump, then there's a nut on the bolt, and then the bolt comes through there as a support bracket. So you have to come through by taking off the AC and the power steering, which are 3 bolts. They're that size right there. They're 14mm, and there's one there, one there, and the last one's right there, and then the power steering pump and AC come off separate. So you can just loosen those bolts, take them out, pop that one bolt out, and then I just put one bolt back in to hold all that up while I put the new the new water pump on. As you take the bolts out of the old water pump, put them in the new water pump in the same order so that you know where all the bolts go, so you don't get a bolt threaded all the way in and then discover it's too long. Then I transfer the bolts from the new water pump into the old one while I install the new one, so I can pull them out one at a time and know exactly where they go. Next, you're going to want to clean up the face of everywhere where the gasket will touch on the water pump area on the motor. The way this water pump is designed is there's a gasket in between the water pump right here and this shield. This is a metal shield that's about 1/4 inch thick or so. There's a gasket in between there, which is sealed with RTV, and then there's another gasket that goes on this side that seals against the engine. You're going to want to RTV both of those gaskets and make sure they're sealed on there real good before you go to install the new water pump. Next, you want to apply RTV to the surface of the water pump and then reinstall it. Once again, it makes it a lot easier if you put those bolts back into where you got them from on the old water pump and then transfer them over. That way you know exactly where each one goes. There's going to be that bolt, this bolt here, this one right here, that one down there, this one, which the AC and power steering slides over, right like that. See how that bracket goes over that bolt? That bolt you have to install first, and then put this whole bracket over it afterwards. And then there's this last bolt down here. There's actually no bolts on the bottom, which I don't know if that's a good or bad design, because they're harder to get to, but at the same time, if the water pump's going to leak, it's going to be from the bottom. So then after you reinstall those bolts, get them all torqued down, and then reconnect the hoses, one there and 2 up here. After you get the hoses connected on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. I'm going to reinstall the serpentine belt, and then reinstall the fan with those 4 bolts that I showed you earlier. It's kind of tricky to get the water pump, the pulley, and the fan lined up. So what I did was I just put the bolt through the fan and the pulley, and then felt on the inside of the pulley and the water pump for that last hole. Just feeling there, and then it's a lot easier to line them up that way. Now that I got the serpentine belt back on, I'm going to reinstall the air intake and the top radiator hose that comes off of the thermostat here. I took those off just for video purposes. You really don't need to take them off. You might need to disconnect them to get the fan out, but I didn't have to.